Welcome to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Radio Show on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. This show is brought to you by Aztec Highway. Get it your way at the highway, WDFA. Now, I'm sitting here in studio with a couple guys that know a little bit about mixed martial arts. Joe and Bob. Joe, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing so super good. I can't even stand it. Robertina, now, you were missing last week, and we sorely missed you because, frankly, nobody was able to give out the call-in line like you are.
I can do that.
Yeah, so I'd like to invite all of our listeners to call in because we got a bunch of really cool stuff. So why don't you tell them how they might go about doing just that?
I can call it 470-570 or 670-1280. Text us at 53318 with the word zone and then whatever you have to say. And Facebook.com/Ultimate Combat Radio. And we check that.
We do check.
We
actually do now. We've moved really, in this whole technological advancing society, we've really caught up with them. So we're good to go. Now, I understand they're pounding at the door. You know, we tell them 6 o'clock, but they think 6 o'clock means 6:15. But Dr. Tim Goodwin is also going to join us on the program, and he'll be breaking down stuff.
You never know what he's going to bring.
Well, I was hoping to chat with him before the show, but again, he's tardy, so maybe we'll work on his promptness, and then we'll work on maybe what he's going to talk about. But he also drugged somebody with him. He's got Josh Berkman, the People's Warrior guy that really needs no introduction. Josh is a guy that started out in the Ultimate Combat, as you may recall, and he's moved on and done really well. In fact, arguably, according to Brandon Kiser, he is the most accomplished Utah fighter to emerge from the state of Utah, and you can't really argue with that, although he's not still in the UFC. He's trying to get back there, but he wants to talk about some stuff. He sounds like he's got some things he wants to get off his chest, and I'm looking forward to that.
We got a lot of stuff going on tonight.
There is stuff afoot here at Ultimate Combat. Also, Court McGee. Now, he's fighting next weekend in, what is it, the Battle of the Bayou? It's a UFC event. He's fighting next weekend. And he, once again, local super stud and all-around great guy. Looking forward to chatting with him. We're going to be doing that in the next segment. But there's literally so much going on in the MMA world right now that it's difficult to pare things down to a one-hour show. But I think we've been able to do it. We've got a lot of, we're going to have to really cook through some stuff, so we're going to get right to it. This segment is brought to you by Ultimate Combat Training Center and Mushin Self-Defense, which I understand, Brandon Kiser, Mushin Self-Defense has a couple guys fighting tonight.
We have 3 guys on the still fist card tonight. I'm excited to get down there after the show.
And UCTC has a couple guys as well. We got Big John Kafer and Turbo.
Turbo.
We don't even know his name. It's Keone, but he goes by Turbo because the guy goes...
100% all the time.
100% all the time. Yes, he does. I want to talk a little bit about the City Weekly article that's coming out here in a couple of weeks. In fact, it was supposed to come out this last Wednesday, but it didn't. We got preempted by 9/11.
Really?
Which is just another
it's a pretty good
disaster. This story is about me, so it's kind of a disaster, but apparently not to the 9/11 proportions, but close. But we got bumped a couple weeks, and it's going to come out in a couple weeks. Now, the story started out, the guy was covering, had a little, how would you say, disagreement with the Athletic Commission. And, he started digging into the story. He had heard about it, and he started, getting into some of the ins and outs of how the commission came to be and some of the political stuff that was going on. It was really interesting as he started progressing through this story, because he was amazed at how deeply political this game really is. And I'm not just talking about the competitiveness between the promoters. It's political. You've got literally legislators that are changing laws and things like that just to kind of get the commission to where it's at. So, but as he kind of moved along, he kind of found, he came to me one day and he says, Mike, you are a very polarizing character. He says, people either really like you or they hate your guts, man. I said, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. So he kind of took a turn in the story, and he talked to Jennifer Howe and Jeremy Horn and Johnny Ritchie and Tony and Lara Psyche, people that really don't like me all that much.
Did he talk to anybody that does like you?
That's a good question, because I said, well, hey, there are some guys that do like me as well, and he just didn't seem interested in exploring that avenue. So
nobody wants to hear something about.
So I'm really curious to see how the story. Yeah, maybe it's that he's looking for something salacious. In fact, the cover of the magazine is going to be me getting punched in the face. And it was just kind of a.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it's kind of demonstrative of my life. It's been a punch in the face the last year or so, and there are a lot of people that I'm sure in their minds have fantasized punching me in the face, literally. But that's the kind of the story end up. So I'm going to be interested to see how it all plays out. It's not going to be a pretty thing for me, I don't think, but I really am glad that they're going to tell this story about all the politics and all the stuff that goes on.
They're going to tell it how it is, though. They're not going to.
I did, tell them there are people like, did they call you?
Maybe.
Did they call you? They call you?
They did not call Yamasaki, right?
They didn't call anybody that likes me. So anyway, that should be interesting. And he did say he's going to be willing to come on the show and talk about it once it's already out. He doesn't feel comfortable doing it before, but he'll come on and talk about it. And maybe we'll just come on and we'll beat him up right here on air.
Let's do it.
We'll see how it goes. Now, we do have a poll question this evening. Robertina, what prompted the poll question?
Well, I am not a big fan of Josh Koscheck because I think he is a crybaby. I think he is a huge crybaby.
Dude, he's tough.
No, he's not.
He's a good wrestler. He's tough.
And he is a really good poked in the eye faker too. But so that brings on our question. Okay, well, there's one thing when you cover the right eye. When you're covering the wrong eye, when you get poked.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so you've compiled a list, and you really do a lot of research when you do any of these. I mean, you get really in depth when you do these type of things. And one of the things that I got a pretty good kick out of. I'm gonna reveal one of the people on the list. We're not gonna give you the list until the end of the program. But Robertina, biggest crybabies in all of sports.
All of sports.
And she came up with Nancy Kerrigan. Granted, she did cry.
The girl that got smashed in the knee with the crowbar. What a crybaby.
She cried, right?
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, look, Josh did finally make it into the building. He's kind of like Elvis. He just made it into the building. So we're going to be chatting with him, but we're going to talk to Court McGee before we do. We're going to break down what his big fight coming up and talk just some basic average stuff with Court McGee. We'll do that, and then Josh Berkman right after that when we come back.